Hello and welcome to Millennium Sports World. Today we will present local and international sports stories including tennis, MMA, golf, auto race, NFL, NHL, NBA, soccer and some more sports news. So let's find out what's waiting in today's sports world. At first, let's have a look on some tennis stories. Daniil Medvedev won his 18th tour level title and third in a row by beating Andrei Rublev 6-2, 6-2 in an all-Russian final at the Dubai Championships on Saturday. The former number one extended his winning streak to 14 matches in a run that started on Valentine's Day and included back-to-back trophies in Rotterdam and Doha. Medvedev, on the second longest winning streak of his career, broke Rublev twice in each set and won the last 5 games on the hard court. Rublev was the defending champion but quickly fell behind as he couldn't hold his serve in the opening game. It's amazing because the start of the year was not perfect, Medvedev said on court after defeating his good friend. So I was doubting a lot and now it just feels better. Medvedev gave top-ranked Novak Djokovic his first defeat of the year in the semi-finals. The 2021 US Open champion defeated Andy Murray to win the Qatar Open last week after rallying past Jannik Sinner in the final of the Rotterdam Open. Alex de Minaur rallied to win the biggest title of his career, beating Tommy Paul 3-6, 6-4, 6-1 on Saturday night in the final of the Mexican Open. The 24-year-old Australian won his 7th career title and first at the ATP 500 level. He won his previous 6 titles at ATP 250 events, most recently last year at Atlanta. De Minaur will move to 18th in the rankings. His career-best ranking is number 15 in 2021. Paul had reached the final by beating 5th-ranked Taylor Fritz on Friday in a match that lasted 3 hours, 25 minutes. He has won career title at Stockholm in 2021. Now some golf stories. Jin Young Ko won for the first time in a year at the HSBC Women's World Championship and hopes this signals a new start from a year of battling injuries that cost her the number 1 ranking. Ko answered an early charge by Nelly Korda, held her nerve during a 58-minute storm delay late in the round and closed with 3 straight pairs for a 3-under-69 and 2-shot victory Sunday. Ko now has 14 career wins on the LPGA Tour, including 2 majors, along with 11 titles on the Korea LPGA. She called this win her most important, because I had a tough year last year and fought with injury and not good game and mentally tough and everything, Ko said. And then I won this week. Ko has been at number 1 in the world ranking longer than any active player, and she was on top of the world when she won in Singapore a year ago. But then she began to struggle with her wrist, and even taking time off for rest late in the year didn't seem to help. She now is number 5 in the world. Australian veteran Brendan Jones has closed with 5-under-66 to win the New Zealand Golf Open Sunday by 2 shots. Jones celebrated his 48th birthday on Friday by just sneaking into the weekend on the cut line of 4 under. A bogey-free 62 left him tied for 4th place, 3 shots off the lead after the 3rd round, and he posted another low round Sunday to become the 9th Australian to win the New Zealand tournament in its last 10 editions. I don't know what happened, but I have won it and I played some pretty awesome golf for an old guy anyway. It's a dream come true, Jones said. At one point in the final round Sunday, 11 golfers were separated by a stroke. Jones forged ahead with birdies at 14 and 15, then took advantage of a lucky bounce to roll in his 6th birdie of the day on 17. Jones finished 3 clear of a group of 4 players tied in 2nd place. New Zealander Ben Campbell finished with 66, Japan's Tomoyo Ikemura with 68, Australian John Leaders with 64, and Jeong Yom with 67. Now it's time for MMA news. Jon Jones ended a 3-year sabbatical from the UFC, moved up to its highest weight class, and then left no doubt Saturday night about his place in the sport's history. Already widely considered the greatest UFC fighter, the 35-year-old Jones took Cyril Gane to the mat just a little more than a minute into the first round and won with a guillotine choke at 2-4 in UFC 285. "I'm so excited," Jones said. "I have been working for this for a long time. If people thought I wasn't coming back, I have been faithful to my goal, faithful to my mission." As short as the fight was, Jones made sure to take his time entering the octagon, playing up to the sold-out crowd of 19,471. UFC President Dana White said the gate was 12.5 million, the highest for a heavyweight match and the fourth highest ever. This was Jones' first fight in 3 years and his first in the heavyweight division. The former light heavyweight champion said it was important to cement in his own mind that he deserved the honor as the greatest ever. Alexa Grasso was one step ahead of Valentina Shevchenko on Saturday, a step that has permanently placed Grasso in the history books. In the co-main event of UFC 285 on Saturday in Las Vegas, Grasso defeated Shevchenko by fourth-round submission to claim her flyweight championship and snap Shevchenko's streak of 7 consecutive title defenses. The end came when Grasso latched onto Shevchenko's back following an ill-timed spin kick, then proceeded to attack with a rear naked choke that earned her the tap with less than 30 seconds remaining before the final round. The finish was anything but an accident, and Grasso explained how she expected Shevchenko might make a fatal mistake. "When I realized that I was touching her with my hands, she changed her strategy," Grasso said at the UFC 285 post-fight press conference. "She was taking me to the ground. She was so fast I wasn't able to defend. But when I was on the ground, I always told myself, you have to go up again and again and again, and you won't stop until you get up. And that's what I did. In the third round, my coaches told me, lower your level a little bit, and I was able to defend better. I was just hoping that she would do the spin. It happened like the Joanne Calderwood fight. I knew it would be easier to take the back in that moment, so I was just waiting for the perfect opportunity." Grasso scored her second submission win on Saturday, a method of victory that wasn't on her resume through the first decade of her career. Prior to a tap-out of Joanne Calderwood in March 2022, Grasso was primarily known for her striking expertise. Now it's time for auto race news. New season, another victory. Max Verstappen won the season-opening Bahrain Grand Prix from pole position on Sunday, leading almost the entire race as he began the defense of his back-to-back Formula One titles. Red Bull also clinched a dominant 1-2 with Sergio Perez finishing 12 seconds behind him in second spot, while 41-year-old Fernando Alonso took a brilliant third place and claimed a 99th career podium on a stunning race debut for Aston Martin. "What have you done, guys? What have you done?" a jubilant Alonso told his team. "I'm so proud of you guys." Alonso's fans are already labeling this season as Mission 33, hopeful the Spanish driver can win a 33rd career race. His last win was 10 years ago with Ferrari. Alonso, who joined after an acrimonious split with Alpine, pumped his fist at the finish line and then hugged his race crew. NASCAR superstar Chase Elliott had successful surgery for an unspecified injury to his left leg Friday night, hours after a snowboarding accident in Colorado. He missed this weekend's NASCAR race at Las Vegas. Team owner Rick Henrik told the Associated Press that Elliott was just out of surgery and it went well. Henrik gave no additional details about Elliott's condition or the accident. Henrik is NASCAR's winningest car owner and Elliott is NASCAR's most popular driver. Josh Berry drove the number 9 Chevrolet on Sunday in place of Elliott. Elliott would need a waiver from NASCAR to be eligible for this year's playoffs because he is missing a race. NASCAR has granted waivers to drivers for a variety of medical and non-medical reasons. Andretti Autosport has insisted for months that it was doing the behind-the-scenes work to recover from last year's brutally disappointing IndyCar season. The team won only 2 races among its 4 drivers. Former Formula One star Romain Grosjean was a bust in his first year with the team, and Alexander Rossi decided early that his 7th season at Andretti would be its last. Michael Andretti powered forward. He signed Colton Herta to a long-term extension, pulled Kyle Kirkwood back into the organization, and made changes at the shop that had him optimistic for 2023. So far, so good on the opening weekend. Grosjean opened his 3rd season in IndyCar by winning the pole in Saturday qualifying on the downtown streets of St. Petersburg, where the Frenchman led an all-Andretti front row. He surged to the 2nd pole of his IndyCar career in the winning moments of the session and beat teammate Colton Herta for the top starting position in Sunday's race. Now, boxing story. Ohara Davies ruthlessly broke Louis Ritson's resistance with a 9th round stoppage win to set up a shot at the WBA super lightweight title. The Hackney fighter unloaded a short right hand, followed by a left hook to the body that sent Ritson crumpling to the canvas at a Newcastle arena, as Davies emerged victorious from a WBA final eliminator. Alberto Puello will defend his WBA belt against Rolando Romero next, but Davies is now waiting in line for his own title fight. Ritson, a former British lightweight champion, had landed thudding jabs in the early rounds, but a steady barrage of body shots from Davies began to take their toll. A spiteful shot from Davies rattled the ribs of Ritson in the 6th, and he received more punishment to the body before the closing shots came in the 9th. On the undercard, Thomas Patrick Ward's hopes of a world title fight were ended by a 5th round stoppage loss to Otabek Kolbatov. Now it's time for latest NBA story. Ja Morant will be away from the Memphis Grizzlies for at least their next 2 games, the team announced Saturday, not long after the NBA opened an investigation into a social media post by the guard, who live-streamed himself holding what appeared to be a gun at a nightclub. Morant said in a statement distributed through the agency that represents him that he takes full responsibility for his actions and that he was going to take some time away to get help. The video was streamed by Morant on his Instagram page early Saturday, hours after the Grizzlies played in Denver. They were flying to Los Angeles on Saturday for games against the Clippers on Sunday and the Lakers on Tuesday. Morant will miss those 2 games, at minimum, the Grizzlies said, without further comment. Now, latest football story. Texas Tech suspended coach Mark Adams on Sunday over an inappropriate, unacceptable, and racially insensitive comment he made to a player. Athletic director Kirby Hocutt said he was made aware of the incident Friday and issued a written reprimand before deciding to suspend Adams to investigate further. The incident occurred in a meeting between Adams and a player who wasn't identified, the school said in a news release. Adams was encouraging the student athlete to be more receptive to coaching and referenced Bible verses about workers, teachers, parents, and slaves serving their masters, the statement said. Adams immediately addressed this with the team and apologized. The school didn't say who would fill in for Adams as coach for the Big 12 tournament. Texas Tech is the 9th seed and plays West Virginia on Wednesday night in Kansas City, Missouri. The 66-year-old Adams is in his second season. He replaced Chris Bird, who left to coach Texas, his alma mater. But Bird was fired this season by the Longhorns after he was charged in a felony domestic violence case. Prosecutors later dropped the charge. The Red Raiders made the Sweet 16 in Adams' first season but started 0-8 in the Big 12 this season. Jalen Carter's next step in his attempts to preserve his status as a top prospect in next month's NFL draft will be Georgia's Pro Day on March 15, where he is expected to participate in workouts in front of coaches and general managers. Carter, a defensive tackle who played a big role in the Bulldogs' back-to-back national championships, has been widely projected as one of the top picks in the April 27 NFL draft. His draft outlook was potentially clouded by misdemeanor charges of racing and reckless driving in relation to the January 15 crash that killed teammate Devin Willock and Georgia recruiting staffer, 24-year-old Chandler LeCroy. Police allege in an arrest warrant that Carter was racing his 2021 Jeep Trackhawk against the 2021 Ford Expedition driven by LeCroy at the time of the crash. Willock was a passenger in the SUV LeCroy was driving. Police determined LeCroy's Expedition was traveling at about 104 mph shortly before the crash. The arrest warrant says LeCroy's blood alcohol concentration was 0.197 at the time of the crash. The legal limit in Georgia is 0.08. Now it's time for latest MLB story. Left-handed reliever Will Smith agreed to a $1.5 million one-year contract with the Texas Rangers on Saturday and will report to spring training. The 33-year-old was 0-3 with a 3.97 ERA and 5 saves in 65 relief appearances last year for Atlanta and Houston, which acquired him on August 2 for current Ranger Jake Odorizzi. The Astros declined a $13 million option on November 9, allowing Smith to become a free agent as he completed a $40 million three-year contract. He was an All-Star with San Francisco in 2019, the final season with the Giants for current Rangers manager Bruce Bochy. Smith had a career-high 37 saves for Atlanta in 2021. He has a 31-34 career record with 91 saves in 513 appearances over 10 seasons for Kansas City, Milwaukee, San Francisco, Atlanta, and Houston. Infielder Mark Mathias was designated for assignment to open a roster spot. He was 3 for 10 with 3 RBIs and 3 walks in 5 spring training games. Nothing could phase the Philadelphia 76ers, not the loss of 2 starters, not an 18-point deficit late in the third quarter, not even the fact they were facing the NBA's hottest team on the road. Joel Embiid made a go-ahead three-pointer with 41.4 seconds left, and the 76ers rallied to beat Milwaukee 133-130 on Saturday night, snapping the Bucks' 16-game winning streak. "You find something that works and you try to stick with it," said James Harden, who had 38 points, 10 assists, and 9 rebounds. "We found something late in that fourth quarter, and we just stuck with it. We got some stops and things changed for us." Milwaukee had the longest winning streak by any NBA team since the Phoenix Suns had 18 straight victories early last season. The streak ended because the Bucks got outscored 48-31 during a fourth quarter in which the 76ers shot 12 of 21 overall, 7 of 11 from three-point range, and 17 of 19 from the line. The final buzzer sounded and the party was on at Pauley Pavilion. Jamie Jacques Jr. rushed into the student section, his shaggy damp hair stuck to his face, and started bobbing up and down. He and his teammates celebrated with the fans after number 4 UCLA beat 8th-ranked Arizona 81-73 on Saturday night to complete a 17-0 record at home in the team's regular season final. "We did it, but at the same time, we are not done," Jacques said. Now we got to go into the next half. To me, it's like a whole new season. Jacques had 22 points and 10 rebounds. Tiger Campbell added 21 points and David Singleton had 17, making a season-best 5 three-pointers for the Bruins. They went undefeated at home for the first time since 2006-07 and have won 25 in a row at Pauley Pavilion in the nation's longest active home winning streak. UCLA had already clinched the Pac-12 regular season title, winning by 4 games over the Wildcats. Now latest skiing news. Mikaela Shiffrin's quest to tie Swedish great Ingemar Stenmark's record of 86 career World Cup victories now moves to his home country. Shiffrin's next race is a giant slalom in on Friday, as the American skier seeks one victory to match Stenmark's total on the all-time overall winners list between men and women. The Swede competed in the 1970s and 80s. Was also the venue of Shiffrin's first career win in December 2012. Shiffrin rounded off a 3-race weekend in Norway Sunday by finishing in 7th position at a Super G affected by changing weather conditions. The American was 4th in a Super G Friday and 5th in the downhill the following day to lock up her 5th World Cup overall title. On Sunday, Shiffrin was among the early starters when low clouds caused flat light and snowfall slowed most racers before later starters benefited from improved conditions when skis cleared. Wearing bib 31, Nina Ortlieb led an Austrian sweep of the podium ahead of Stephanie Venier, who started 29th, and Franziska Gritz, who started 26th. Now let's have some soccer news. Liverpool brought Manchester United crashing down to earth in a stunning 7-0 rout in the Premier League at Anfield on Sunday. Cody Gakpo, Darwin Núñez and Mohamed Salah all struck twice and Roberto Firmino scored the other, with 6 of the goals coming in an explosive second-half performance. A week after winning the League Cup, United experienced its heaviest defeat in the Premier League and the club's joint worst loss in all competitions. It also delivered a major blow to Erik ten Hag's 4-pronged pursuit of trophies, with the league title challenge now looking increasingly unlikely. Liverpool, meanwhile, took advantage of losses for top 4 rivals Newcastle and Tottenham on Saturday to strengthen its own bid to qualify for the Champions League. Salah became the Merseyside club's all-time leading Premier League scorer with 129 goals. Gakpo opened the scoring in the 43rd minute after Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford had missed chances to put United ahead. Núñez struck in the 47th and Salah Gakpo made it 3-0 in the 50th. With United looking to get back into the match, Liverpool went on the rampage. Salah made it 4-0 in the 66th and Núñez struck again in the 75th. Barcelona kept its title-chasing momentum by beating Valencia 1-0 and increasing its lead over Real Madrid in the Spanish league on Sunday. Rafinha scored a first-half winner for Barcelona, which missed a penalty from Ferran Torres early in the second half and then saw defender Ronald Araujo sent off. The win at the Camp Nou Stadium came 3 days after Barcelona defeated Madrid 1-0 at the Santiago Bernabeu Stadium in the first leg of the Copa del Rey semi-finals. The Catalan club took its league lead over Madrid to 10 points, increasing the pressure on its rival. Madrid plays at Real Betis later Sunday. Barcelona had lost 2 in a row against Manchester United in the Europa League and Almeria in the league, before coming up with the big Copa victory against Madrid at the Bernabeu. Barcelona got the win despite still missing some of its top players, including Robert Lewandowski, the league's leading scorer. Ousmane Dembele and Pedri also didn't play because of injuries, while playmaker Gavi was out because of a yellow card suspension. That's all in today's sports world. Keep watching Millennium Sports World for latest sports updates. Millennium TV US and Millennium News 24 network is transmitted and available to be watched free for all at TVs such as Sony, Samsung, LG, Roku TV, Amazon TV and Apple TV, and also in all European countries and Australia available with the Sky Network, Worldwide Jagu TV, Radiant IPTV, Worldwide Jagu BD Network and Horizon Satellite globally. Stay connected with us for all types of informative and entertainment program. Thank you.